I've been back in Sydney for 3 weeks and we haven't been to the beach. They literally closed the beaches when we arrived, and now I'm really, really, really upset. Okay, so hi. We're going to start this workout. We'll go top to bottom, most common exercises, most common injuries, how to avoid them, and how to modify when you're injured. So, swimming before 7 a.m. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of wildlife in the water right now that I am terrified of. Too German still. We'll have to work on that. Okay, so we're going to start at the top, and you will literally just let your neck fall from the center over to the left shoulder. Nice stretch across the neck here, and then over to the other side. So an area that is often neglected, that you can't get into with too much force because your traps could lock up, and that will give you a pressure headache. So you're just trying to go gently from right shoulder to left shoulder. I know this is boring, but it will feel better. And then let's do 3 where you go all the way around. And then 3 where you reverse. And then extend your arms out, and you're just going to press out by pressing the palms out and then pressing the top of your hands out. So we're still working on the trapezius, on your neck, and we're also getting into the shoulders at this point. This is also good if you have any form of wrist pain. So some women develop wrist pain after they have children for the first few months, and that's called de Quervain's, and it's a hormonal, sometimes it's a structural problem, but that can be pretty painful. And so these exercises are not dissimilar to what pianists do for a warm-up. Okay, and then you're going to stretch the arms out over your head, and we're just going to lean and lean. Try and keep your hands above your head, not in front. You could keep them slightly behind. We'll do 5 more to each side. 2, 3. So you're still interlacing, and you're creating this wave. So one hand is naturally on top. Again, this is warming up the wrists, also gets into the shoulders and the neck. We'll do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Find an alternative grip so it feels like the other hand is on top. Ten more. Okay, and then we'll go just back to the upper body. You'll make a fist, and you'll press your elbows in, and then you open wide. 2, we're doing 20. 3, when you're opening, you're also driving your elbows down and your shoulder blades together. So I'll show you from behind. And last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Still working on this part. You're going to reach up and over, and then switch. Elbow gets tucked in between. The head leans with you towards that side. So if you've been sitting at the computer all day, hunched over, your gaze in one direction and your neck in one position, that's what we're trying to loosen up right now. Your neck and your shoulders. Or if you've been swimming in Nielsen Bay at 7 a.m. Okay. All right, let's add some more movement. So your shoulders are going to do circles forward. I'm making you do all these little exercises that you would never do by yourself. Drop your chin. And then reverse. Back, 2, 3, we're doing 15. Okay. And then we'll add even more movement. So open up and close, open up and close. You can do this with a dumbbell if you want, but this one is just about good positioning and mobility and suppleness. We'll do 3 more. Okay. And then push the arms forward towards me. So your upper body is almost parallel to the ground. Push back and forward. 20 of those. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Now we're adding movement across. So feet much wider than hip width. Feet are still parallel. Arms at shoulder level. And because we're in a deep squat, we're already involving the hips, the knees, the ankles. And from here for 1 minute, you're just going to come across. And I can feel this in my mid-back, which is an area that is difficult to access. Keep the elbows up, don't drop them. "30 seconds left. Last 10 seconds left. Three, 2, and 1. Okay, since we're working on the back, we'll take that a little further. So from here, you're going to push your back out and then straighten. And that's coming from the shoulders. So shoulders round and shoulders move back and down. 8 more times. Round and back and down. Round and arch and round and arch and round and arch. 4 more. And last 2. Okay, all right. So that should feel pretty good up top. Now we'll see how you translate that into push-ups. Typical workout, something you'll do in a workout class, something you'll do in a yoga class. People always ask you to do a push-up or chaturanga, and most people have bad form and tend to either really hate it or injure themselves. So the way you want to build up to a push-up is fingers wide, and whether that's in yours, allow yourself to start on your knees. So you're resting just above the knee. So you're never resting on the kneecap directly. You're just about here. So you have to push your legs back quite far. And that brings your hip into a straight line. And that's where the hip stays. So from here, the only thing that is moving is your elbows and your upper body. So you're bending and you're coming back up. And that could be just up here and back up, or that can be all the way down and back up. And we'll do that 15 times. If you're feeling weak after a few, push back, stretch out the arms briefly, come and join us again. Okay, 15. Down and up. Okay, and while we're on all fours on the ground, we'll just add on to the back work we just did, which is cat and cow 5 times. Okay, so no need to do push-ups in a full plank yet. If they're not accessible, I'll show you later how to do them in a full plank. But people always ask me whether it's better to do full push-ups or push-ups on the knees. If you cannot do full push-ups, just do them on the knees, and you'll do more, you'll feel more motivated, and you won't injure yourself. Okay, so we did the shoulders, we got into the upper back. Now we're going to start working on the hips and the glutes. So standing again. We'll start pretty easy. So you're balancing on one leg, and this other leg just comes out and in. The feet stay parallel. And the foot doesn't touch the ground. $15 total. I'll do 4 more. And that same movement we're going to take into a side lunge. So, stepping into a side lunge, you keep your feet parallel, especially if you're a runner. You want to work on the hips and the glutes. And from here, pull the bent knee in and come up and balance. Step up, come down low, up and up. And 3, and up and up. 4, 5 of 15, 6, 7, 5 more with a hop coming back in. And 5. Okay, so we're still working this one side of the hip. We went out like this. We did the side lunges, and now we're going to add bringing this leg up across. 20 of those. We're warming up the hamstrings. This is a very common runner's exercise before a competition or a hard workout. It will show you right away how inflexible your hamstrings are. 4 more. Okay, and then still on that same leg, we're going to do a proper forward lunge. So, forward lunge, you don't overstep where the knee pushes past the toes. That will wreck your knee. You step forward with a lot of control. You land, your back heel is off the ground, and then you push back from the front leg. Come to stand. Step, push back. Step, push back. Step. We're doing 15 total. Bend your back knee as well. Okay, all right. We're switching to the other side. So, balance on the right leg, which is the one that just moved. The other leg is going to be straight, lifting from the hip. $15 total. Okay, and then we'll take this leg into a side lunge, down and step, down and up. 3, 4. When you lift, you squeeze the opposite glute. You're sitting back. We'll do 5 more with a hop. Okay, good. And then from here, we'll go into a lunge. Left leg in front, stepping back. Left leg steps, steps back, steps. We're doing 4 more. Okay, and then this other hamstring exercise, you're bringing the left leg up towards the right hand. 20 of those. My left hamstring is a lot more flexible. So with the hips, especially for endurance athletes that run, the biggest injury risk is overuse and labral tears, but it can also travel down. So people get problems with the hip flexors. People get problems with the IT bands, which is basically when you're loading just the thigh instead of using this big muscle we have in the back to power your running. Okay, which is why we're going to work on squats. So regular squats, easy, right? We do them all the time. But the way you set them up should already start with your feet parallel. Don't turn them out. Don't really turn them in. Feet parallel, about hip width. And then you sit back. There's like a chair behind you that you want to sit on just for a moment, and then you pop back up, and the up is still active. So the up comes into a full hip extension and a squeeze. So you're coming down, weight in the heels, come up, push, down, and come up. This is 4, we're doing 15. Squeeze your glutes when you're coming up. Peel your toes off the mat. The last 5, we'll do a hop and a soft landing. Up and a soft landing. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So that's a regular squat. We did the regular squat and the jump squat. And then beyond that, I'll show you the plie squat, which is what happens when people turn their toes out. So we basically want to take the legs a little further apart. And then toes really turned out. So you're not just doing a little bit, really turning out, because now we're working on the inner thighs, the adductors. So toes are turned out, feet are wider than shoulder width. And from here, when you sink down, it's all about keeping the knees tracking to the outside. So what happens is people will often let the knees collapse in, and then you can even feel it. The stress is on here and just here, when really we're trying to get this outward motion, glutes, adductors. Chest stays up, down and up, down and up. And even in this squat, you can see how the hip pushes forward when it comes up. We will do 10, and then we'll take the difficulty up a level by lifting our heels. So now come down low. This is your setup. Lift one heel, and then lift the other heel. And lift total. Ten more. And what we're doing for this workout is we're including the ankle. And come up. One more of these. So by involving the ankles, another spot that gets a weak spot, especially for runners. If your calves are tight and they're overworked, and if you're running a lot of mileage, it can be that it starts affecting your shin. It could be that it starts affecting your Achilles. And for some people, it's just a mobility issue in the toes. If your toes are stiff and your foot cannot follow this motion, it will stop here and transfer all of that load up. And that can be very painful. And that's my case when my toes are not stretched. And all of this is because the more you run and the older you get, the less your body can just bounce back. Okay, so we're coming down low. We're lifting both heels. And then we'll pulse. And we will pulse for 40 seconds. And for 30 seconds. Tiny movement. My feet are shaking. Move everything into the back, glutes, into the adductors. We have 10 seconds left. Stay low. Three, 2, and 1. Okay. Speed skaters are jumping jacks to shake out the legs. So you can go like this. You can go full jumping jack because it's actually the same movement and you're still staying light on your toes. We're also shaking out the arms. We'll do 40 more seconds. And then we'll come down onto the mat. We have 15 seconds left. If you're doing speed skaters, just step, arms relaxed. 5 seconds left. And rest. Okay, so that was pretty intense on the legs. I also did a hill workout yesterday running. So I'm feeling this. So let's come onto the mat. And 2 more things for the core that are very common that we'll work on. Side plank, regular plank. If you're doing regular plank, then again, if it's easier for you to start off on your elbows because your wrists hurt, that's fair. If it's not a chronic condition, before you're getting into a plank, you could stretch out the wrist, because often that's associated with a tight forearm, which is also just a byproduct of our times, a lot of typing. So you can stretch out, especially if you're not holding a long plank, and then give it a try, because you also can't protect your wrists forever to just not use them in that way. So you're pushing back, and then you'll push in. And it's not just plank, it would also be yoga, any of that movement that you enjoy, that you ultimately want to get back to. And then the first thing we'll do is a plank on your palm. And I'll turn around so you know what the front looks like. Shoulders over wrists, broad back, nice and proud. And I'll show you the back, because today we'll add movement in the toes. So you're in a plank, your toes are tucked. You're coming up, and from here, you'll move forward through the feet and back, and forward and back. So we're massaging the Achilles. We're working the toe flexibility while working on our core. We'll do 7 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, then I'll show you the front again. Next thing we'll do is forearm plank. Forearm plank is a little easier on the shoulders, but it's actually harder on the core. It isolates the core more because you're not so focused on just keeping yourself up in the arms. You can either do a flat forearm, or you can interlace and rest on the sides. For me personally, that doesn't matter. And then you come into plank. And what we'll do here is we will step our feet out and in. So out and in. And I'll show you the back again. We'll do that for 10 on each side. So nice strong plank in the front. Right foot steps out and back in. Left foot steps out and in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And done. Okay. Okay, so we did plank front, now plank side. Just as a transition, if you've never done a successful side plank, start resting on your knees. and on your elbow. So you would lift from the hip. And the goal with side plank on your elbow is always to bring the elbow in closer so you have more height. So you're actually lifting from the waist, not so much with the arm. So from here, we'll just do 10. And then the next step would be to extend your legs out straight. And so here, the goal is really to pull your toes up towards your shoulders. Knees are straight, and from your ankle to your hip, the joints are aligned in one straight line. And so from here, it's the same thing. You would press up and down. We'll do 5. And up and down, and 3, and 4, and 5. And then the hardest thing is a full side plank on your arm, which requires quite a bit of strength. And you're trying to keep the hands pointing away from your body to the front, not so much to the side, because you also don't want to slip. And then you would press up. And here, I would just start with holding that. So you just hold 10 seconds. Three, 2, and 1. And then we'll do the other side. So the progression is elbow, knees bent. So pressing up 10 times. Two more, last one. Then you would extend the legs and press up 5 times. Straight legs, toes pulling up towards you. Up, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the last one is the full side plank on your arm that will hold for 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and so the very last exercise we'll do today is more of a mobility, flexibility thing. You're going to bring your legs out in front. I'll show you here. And with a straight back, you'll just focus on pointing the right, pulling it back in. Pointing the left, pulling it back in. Alternate, 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 alternate. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now go across. So left leg pulls in, right leg pushes out. 2 simultaneously. 3 for 20. 4, 5. 7, 8, 9, and down. And last one, you can support yourself with your arms behind you. Point both and pull them in. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 more. Last one. Okay, good. And for a stretch for everything, it's hard to imagine, you will come to this very low squat. So the goal is for your heels to be down. If that's not possible, you grab a yoga block, anything you can sit on, so you have that extra support. Toes are turned out, heels are down. This is a goddess squat, or a sumo squat, whatever you want to call it. And then you will press your elbows into the knees and press your palms into one another. And by doing that, you're rounding your lower back and you're also relaxing your upper back. So we're going to hold this for 30 seconds. And you'll see the only area where this is going to get a little uncomfortable will be in the shins. You'll start feeling it. But this is the best way to release a tight lower back. It is the best way to open up the inner thighs. It even gives you a bit of a stretch on the front of your thighs. It is very, very calming for your central nervous system. You can drop your chin. And then you're slowly going to press out of this. And we're done for today. I hope you enjoyed this. Another evening workout for the New Yorkers. I've been saying this for a week, but I'm working on a series of exercises that I will make available as a package that is going to be a little nicer quality on YouTube because some of the live videos have been quite dark. And I'll make those available to you in one way or another. So I'll be focusing on our mental health. I'll be focusing on pregnancy and postpartum, and then also special workouts for runners. Okay, so I wish you all a happy Easter weekend. I wish you all a good Passover, and if I'm not mistaken, Ramadan. And, that's sort of like, it seems like a big time right now for everybody to come together and observe their own faith. Sending lots of love to everyone, and see you on Monday, New York time, and Tuesday, Sydney time. Bye.